do your members pay membership dues?
Yes.
Do they have to be in any certain major?
No.
Like, what's the criteria to become like a member of the?
Well, you have to have a 2.5 GPA. We accept all majors. You have
Yeah, that's it.
you have quality.
But like, for example, your meetings or events are not secret, or because I know some sororities have this kind.
They are closed to the public.
Well, I'm talking like about these events, not your organization.
Oh, like
that's
our
your own business. But
Interest meetings? No, they're open to the
yeah.
public.
Or like whatever you are asking money for, like all the events that you have.
Oh yeah, these are all open to the public.
Yeah, okay, just like we gotta make sure of that. And, so like, okay, you said that about the week, and we did the interest meeting, we did the membership fee, we talked about pancakes. And
Promotional attire.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so promotional attire is basically when we recruit our new members, once they have been initiated in, everyone, wants to, let people know who you are, and get a jacket. I know on the board thing I did not have quotes, but I do have quotes here. This is the quote for the promotional attire. It's basically just so they can feel a part of the organization which they have been initiated into.
$433 for a jacket?
Well, it's not one. I just estimated, say if we have like 5 girls, then they all would have a jacket.
Yeah, but I mean, like, still this is, for example, like, student government funds event that like are giving something back to the Cleveland State community. And I understand it makes you guys girls look good and like your own team and you have the own thing, but like that is benefiting your own organization and like that's kind of like your inside purpose or decision on like how you want to run your organization. So
True, but it's like we're here on Cleveland State campus, so they would see us and then we would actually be a representation of you all when we go out into the community and do what we do. They would see like, okay, well, these women, they are smart and they also help the community.
just like to put this into perspective, because like this time is jackets, usually we have like been asked for shirts, and like none of those have been approved so far. Like, yes, shirts for membership, for organization members, none of those. Because of the reasons that I mentioned. And again, how you guys want to make yourself look like, that's your own way of running your organization, so like that comes more out of. But like we are, for example, as you said, like the pearls and pancakes and pearls. This is more like you are interacting with people, and like students, they are getting to know you, and like maybe they like you and decide and ask to join you or things like that. But you are interacting with Cleveland State students, and like you are giving them back what they kind of funded for, because like all this money that SGA uses comes out of like all Cleveland State's student tuition. So they're getting something back on what they invested in a certain way. But when you like decide to like get shirts or jackets, that's your organization benefiting for that.
I think it's a benefit for everyone. I mean, they go to Cleveland State, so it's like they're on the campus. It's like sense of unity, diversity at the same time.
That's point of views. But also, as I said, like we try to keep the same standard for like all student organizations, and like this is our third hearing, so like this is like 150 budget requests, and like so far, as I said, none of those have been approved.
It's just the fact that that a student who isn't part of your sorority doesn't benefit at all from you guys having jackets. They get to see you guys and say, wow, they look nice, and and you get to represent your sorority really well. But it just, the average CSU student, like myself, I don't benefit at all from you guys having those jackets. So that's why we have to deny that.
Our
So,
day,
in the past, y'all have never paid for jackets or promotional attire at all?
we are every year is a brand new executive board, so
Okay.
I don't know
I have
what
noticed
happens.
that.
Sorry?
I have noticed that. Every year is different.
Because like every year is elections, and like there is like SGA has like rules and constitution and like bylaws.
And what we've noticed is like 3 years ago, nobody followed any rules. Last year, they started following rules, and then this year, we're trying to follow. Like, that's what someone asked, oh, you changed all your rules? Like, no, we didn't change any rules. And all of us are new, so we're like, we're just following the rules. Like, what are you talking about? So that's been a learning.
We're reading the rules that we follow. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, literally as Matt said, we haven't changed anything. So,
Is there another one?
yeah, oh, there's like 10 more.
But I mean, like, better within the day. What date are we cutting off of?
I'm going like one by one. So like Earth Day, for example, is like in April, so like you can come back for that. Because, as I said, like you have 3 more hearings until that.
Is 12/8 the mayor's basket?
And I would request you to put like different event for the different request on the option, because this one is each and everything is in the one request.
Okay,
So each event you can put a different request.
okay.
That kind of helps us like when we like, because doesn't mean like you're gonna be approved everything, but doesn't mean you're gonna be denied everything either. So it's easier for all of us to keep track of like what is being approved and what is being spent. But yeah, the mayor's
Basket.
Yeah, what's the mayor's basket?
The mayor's basket is something that my graduate chapter actually told us about. They basically, it's like feeding the community, those in need. So basically you go around, you fill a basket with different types of foods and things like that, and at the end you will have a big basket or a few big baskets, and that will be shipped to an organization.
No, are we, is this just for the bags themselves?
Yes.
Oh, so
And
no,
I have a quote for that too.
like this is like $40. Yeah. So like. Other bags for like $2. I'm sorry you like printed everything because I feel like.
I did.
And like you have requested like $40, right? So.
Is it, oh, so wait, so are we cutting in half every request that they make?
No,
'Cause-
it's not like by mistake or like.
Yeah, but that's what we're doing, right? So 80 is gonna be 40.
Well, we are just ignoring like their revenue part, because they besides requesting money from us, they have added there like they're using half of the funds from their student organization, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, technically cut everything. So, Mother Branch,
That's May.
oh, that's in May.
Yeah, the party with the purpose is one. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Part of the purpose is, basically, we were gonna have people donate clothing, and then whatever funds that we collected from the party, we would basically use a portion of that to buy more clothes and then donate it to those in need.
Sorry? Can you repeat that?
We will basically take a portion of the funds that we get from the party and donate it, well, buy clothes and things like that and donate it to those in need.
So you're throwing a party to raise funds
Yes,
to buy the clothes?
yes, and also having people donate clothes as well.
Where is this? Where is the party gonna be at? Because I see like $200.
Cheers Lounge.
Where?
Cheers lounge.
I didn't.
Cheers lounge.
The Cheers
Location,
Lounge.
right?
Where's the Cheers Lounge?
Cheers is on 93rd, it's not too far from.
Oh. Matt. Matt.
Yeah.
So like, cause I know the rules when she has to like book a space event here.
Right. Well, and that one's tough too, because we,
Does it count as an off-campus? Like
yeah, and I can't tell too if that would count
Deposit, so
as
it's not bad at
a
all.
fundraiser.
Because it's a
We
deposit.
don't really fund
Yeah.
fundraisers.
We don't.
No, we don't. So
Yeah.
we can
I thought
pay.
we did.
We can see.
We would
Like the
pay for like,
$400.
well, I guess, yeah, you're right, because we said we would pay for,
Like,
yeah, never mind, we don't do donations.
estimate.
so-
Yeah, we don't, but they.
But it is, it's helping the fundraiser to fund it.
And it would pay for an event that would come with a charge. Who would get charged for the event? So you said you were gonna raise money at the party, where would the money come from? Like, were people paying admission?
Yeah,
Who would pay admission, everybody?
everybody, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so like for us, everything has to be like free and open to everybody. Because we had an event earlier this year where people were charging membership and we had to tell the group not to do that, because they funded the event with student government fees.
Because like technically it would be like sponsoring you guys, in this case to make donation, but in another case would be like even to make profit, because
And we're just not in the business to be able to track, like, there's 250 student organizations, so we can't. Not that we don't trust you or anything, but that was our, like, the precedent we set was like, we can't track any group that's raising money, we can't actually like make sure they're putting the money towards where they say they can. We just don't have the capacity to do that, so we
But-
sort of said, we'll.
For example, if you wanted to hold that and free admissions, but say you had like a raffle or something of that nature that you fundraise within it, as long as any student can go and enjoy all the privileges of the event without having to pay. But like say, you have a raffle and like whatever you do at fundraising events, like maybe you have like a bakery stand or something like that, that would be perfectly fine and you'd be allowed to make funds off of that, pretty sure, right? But just charging admissions is like that.
And so the 220 would be like a facility rental,
Yes.
is it?
or whatever the price
Two.
was.
325.
Yeah. Party with purpose is on 24th. Oh, what is the party about?
That's what we
That's
just
the thing.
discussed.
Oh, what's happening to Mother Brown?
So, what do you guys do at the party?
It's just like a mixer,
Oh, we skipped.
A what?
a mixer, a social mixer. People would pay to come in, it's a party with a purpose, so you would pay or you could donate to help those in need.
Knowing that your money's going to a purpose.
Would they Viking expedition, because student government is not the only organization that you can ask for funds. And
Yeah, they
you
might
have
be,
like
but-
CAB and Viking expedition and who else is it? Whiskey,
No.
Stuff at the law school, stuff for clubs.
Yeah, law school.
Like
clubs,
sports clubs,
GPSA for
Yeah.
grad students.
and don't get this the wrong way, please, because that's very noble what you want to do, but for us, Cleveland State student interest has to come first, since they have trusted us to administer their funds on the purpose to give it back to them.
But it will ultimately be going back out to the community.
But the community didn't pay in to Cleveland State, and like we said, we love when people come to us and ask to help us with their donations because we think it's a great cause. But the fact is that people who are never gonna be affected by this event and could not really be affected by this event unless they paid, are paying, so to speak, for this event.
Literally every year, SGA gets gets awarded an amount of budget. That budget comes as a percentage of previous student tuition. So it's literally, let's say 3% or 2% or 5% multiplied by tuition. So it's not that it's coming from the students on the third way or fourth way. It's just straight from the tuition, and it has to go back to them also.
So that's what, our goal is, basically, we get money from students and then we try to find ways to give it back to them to spend on campus and for each other. So our focus, that's why we have a $5,000 cap, but $2,000 for anything off campus, because we want things on campus with our students. And so Viking Expedition, their money though focuses on students doing service events, service things like this, out in the community. We had a groups last week who, unfortunately, we weren't able to fund, but they wanted to buy a lot of things that they would take into the school systems and help students build things, and that the students would get to keep them and all of that stuff. But we loved the experience and the idea and everything about it, but for us, those benefiting from it weren't necessarily our students, and so we just weren't able to fully fund that. And a lot of this stuff today, we're just sort of telling you our mentality and our perspective that goes into when we do meet to make decisions. And so there's no no's today, but we're just trying to be transparent with you of where our brains go with some of
Definitely
that.
understand.
Stop the violence, I'm assuming
January 1st.
that was the better, out in the community.
So are we gonna tell it, is Stop the Violence gonna be for another hearing? It's January 1st.
No, it's not, no, like, we are considering it this time.
Okay, so can you tell us about Stop the Violence?
Stop the Violence is basically for people who have been affected by gun violence. A number of my sorority sisters have been affected by gun violence in a number of ways. So it's just something to get us out in the community and just try to help any way we can.
But what are you asking, what are you asking funds for? For food and supplies, decorations, and the locations? So can you tell us about like what the actual event is?
The actual event.
Yeah, because the location here
Basically,
says,
like, to come together. You know,
well, like
come
what,
together, be supportive, and try to get the word out about stopping violence. Because violence is a big thing in the Black community. So that's basically it.
could I ask about the supplies? So like, I want to know like what will the money allocated be going towards in the event? Thank you.
What do you see, Spencer?
So we got a lot of this would fall under the decorations. So we have a Stop the Gun Violence flag, polyester flag. Wristbands, 500 pack. 10 rolls of crepe paper, so this is like decorations, balloons. Storage bags. Does it say how many, because right here I see at the subtotal it says 6910. So, I'm just, oh,
We can look at that later because we still have some to go and we
Yeah.
are kind of, I see that you have submitted two one-time $50 requests. So how this works is like, you requested at one time for the entire year and like it comes all the $250 at once. And like, because this wasn't submitted right, but like you can resubmit this like separately and like, for this one, you don't have to come to a finance meeting, like once your advisor approves it, I will approve it. And it's kind of no question asked in the meeting, like your organization can use it like for every eligible item. Like for example, we don't like give money for alcohol or things like that. But if you want, per se, you can use like $250 to cover a portion for your jacket. Or things like that. So, or like shirts for your organization members and things like that, or food for your meeting. But you will have to resubmit that because I see you have split it in two, like of $100 and $10, and also like you are making that like come like from revenue funds, so I cannot approve that. Charter Day.
Yeah, it's in April.
Oh.
the tacos,
What about Easter?
Easter's in April, tacos in May, Earth Days in April, spring cleanings in March. And the Mother's Brunch is in May as well.
Father's Day.
Founders Day celebration?
Yeah, that's when we go to Detroit, it's like a celebration once again, like just recognizing who we are and what we've done over the 76 years that we've been an organization.
Is it like a conference? Like, do you guys have like a national council or something, or like you are just a
National is, the conference is every 2 years, regional is every year.
Okay. So like for the Founder Day celebration would be like just you guys.
That's an
It will be everyone.
Or would be like other chapters or
Yeah.
something like
Sorry.
and like what about the regional conference? Well, I mean,
So
since
it will be in Detroit. The regional conference would just be the northern region. The Founders Day celebration will be all the organizations within the country.
Since like sometimes when it's conference, like when it's conferences, because like they may include like ticket have heard a lot, we hope that every student organization understands that we are students as you guys,
Mhm.
besides Matt, because Matt is the advisor. And we keep the same standard and fairness to every student organization. So we hope for people to not take that personally.
Okay, it's not taken personal, I just have a clear understanding about what you all do. And I know that, I don't know, like, I only got an email about your guys' budget here, and I didn't know that I had to do a different thing. I didn't know that Fighting Expeditions and SGA were different.
They have their own budget, so like,
Okay.
you can talk to their treasurer or president and like, maybe like some of the things that are not eligible to get funds from us could be eligible to get funds from us.
Yeah, the options.
Well, you have a great weekend.
Thank you,
Thank you.
you all
Okay,
too.
so are we gonna, so if Cleveland State music therapists are out there, what do we tell them? But they're late for the meeting.
So,
But then that's gonna hold everybody else back because they're.
we have like the graduation is
Well, we're already
Ah,
past that.
whatever.
Yeah.
If they're out there, they're out
So
there.
rather engineering or, there's engineering is 4:30.
Music therapist
That's true, that's true. That's cool.
Anybody music therapist? Cool. So next is gonna be,
Electrical,
yeah, the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineering.
so musical therapist, just they no show, so now we're in good.
Oh,
Because
the
at first we were early, and so.
like the music therapy in the show, professor, or?
Yeah, the new
On this
Right.
Maybe they beat them up and said they don't
We are
know.
2 minutes early. Do you guys need to connect them?
Yeah, if you don't mind, can I log into this?
Spencer, can you push the button there so that you can open the?
You guys don't have an HDMI
What?
cable.
HDMI cable.
No deadline.
No, they're really.
I get them signed.
Jokes you were allowed to make.
This won't connect either.
That I am.
I don't have. That's the
Kind of like this, it's like.
So we have your seat.
We're like.
We have copies of
Covered in
it. So
darkness.
like,
Silent.
are you showing us all?
It's on PowerPoint, we did some changes to the budget.
Shine bright
So-
on it.
Well, we're close enough, maybe we can just turn it around, like, one of them holds
That's fine. I could read off, it's
Everything you
just
say
a
is
small
a
PowerPoint, we don't have a lot of
Everything
time.
sometimes you say is a riddle. I like it. Makes you think. Like half a second.
So, I'm gonna do a quick summary of the competition real quick. How many of you are familiar with VEX for like hosting it last year? Alright, yeah. So, I'm gonna do a quick summary of the competition, and then we made some changes because VEX actually is until February, but we can't request at the next hearing because the approval date's 2 weeks before VEX, so.
Okay, we understand.
So there's still some stuff changing. So a quick summary of VEX, just so you guys know, it's a robotics competition. We've been hosting it for about 5 years at the Wolstein Center, and we're expecting about 40 teams and up to 250 people. And it's basically a task-oriented competition. So these high school students build robots that interact with field elements, they have to capture them and get points. That's the gist of that. However, why we host it, the benefits of hosting VEX, mainly recruitment for the school. So all these kids, they're accelerated in their high school classes, they're going to college, whatnot. So kids themselves, there's over 150 of them that'll be coming in to CSU. So we're gonna try to recruit them. We got college engineering representatives there, we got our members, and we're also gonna invite other student orgs so they can recruit, have tables there. And it's also a fundraiser. So it's in our best interest to keep the price down because we use the extra money from this to fund more workshops in the spring and other conferences. So that's why we've been doing this for so long. And then the budget updates, I'm gonna show you guys real quick. So, do you have the original?
We have those.
Yeah, this is new stuff.
Oh.
So we cut the price for food down a lot. We bumped it down to $7.75. And then I just heard you guys don't fund t-shirts. Is that true?
Yeah.
Well,
So-
depends.
We don't fund t-shirts when if it's like, these are shirts for our members only. Like if someone
they're
is
volunteer t-shirts.
giving out like to the campus or things like that. I mean, sometimes it's tough because if it's like a fraternity, you don't want to like give your shirts out to
Yeah.
other people.
The t-shirts are more marketing materials
Oh,
for
yeah.
during the competition,
That's
so
where we
we'll have
would
like
be more.
SGA in the back and Cleveland State.
Also, any kind of other.
Organization that volunteers, yeah, so SWE might be on there,
Yeah.
EWB, so if that's okay with you guys, I'll add it back on there.
I am having a little problem before we get there, because
Alright.
we had last year in another student organization that was like, I believe it was an engineering organization again, but like almost with the same idea as you guys, working with high school students, with the exactly same argument of like recruiting and stuff. And the problem is that like SGA funds comes out of like Cleveland State student tuition, so like these events have to go back and then benefit them. And like, we understand that like that's great, it's great for Cleveland State overall, but like maybe the funds for that should come out of a different pocket that like serves for that purpose.
Well, the more students we recruit and bring in, now, see this event, we're gonna have a lot of tables there from different parts of the university that are representing different colleges. We're actually gonna offer a table to you guys. And I understand that, you know, the SGA funds come out from student tuition, but the more students we bring in, the more tuition we have overall, and the more funds SGA has. You know, I
The
mean,
problem
really-
is our money that we look at is for the students who are here right now, and our role is for the students advocating resources for students who are here right now. And the university has departments and companies who work for recruiting. And so we're on board with everything you're saying, but that's sort of been our philosophy and the precedent we've been setting this year, is that for things that are, like, we want to figure out how do we make sure that our money, because it's coming out of students' pockets, or is going back to the current students who are here now, because that's who's paying for it. So again, recruitment events, and that's where we're trying to find the best ways, is things when, you know, some people would say, well, why do you pay for conferences? Well, that's because we know students are going out and they're doing good things for, you know, Cleveland State University, and those students are getting an awesome experience.
Well, and we have a lot of volunteers that come to this too, within, what do we have, 30 student
Yeah,
volunteers?
there's around 30 student volunteers that come to this that we get. That's not just engineering students. We have several others that are non-engineering students that come to this too. It's a great networking opportunity. There are 160 students that come to CSU and that we are taking care of, that we are working
You know,
to.
I'll tell you what, my roommate is from Rochester, and he went to this event. He was in the robotics thing, and he went to the Wolstein Center, and that's why he's at CSU right now. He's from Rochester.
Yeah, I very much appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we work on recruiting and bringing over 100 students into CSU campus to promote this, and how we can.
No, I don't want to interrupt you, because like the thing is like, we don't have something against your event. 'Cause, like,
Okay.
So you don't,
So-
like, the event is awesome.
Okay,
So
awesome.
you
Thank you.
don't
I
have to
appreciate that.
like, you don't have to justify the event to us.
Okay.
But like,
It's the type of event.
Well, you want to know how it's benefiting CSU students. So I'll tell you one thing I did last year. You know, it was a great experience. I got to be head ref, and I got to go around and judge everybody. So it's a completely student-run event. We don't have, you know, there's nobody from Vex Robotics coming in to do this and run this. We run this. It's a great experience for us in leadership roles and running a big conference type event. And, you know, we go around, we have certain volunteers that go around and they judge engineering notebooks. They set up the food. Like I said, I did the head ref position. Jake here coordinates the whole event, which has been a great professional experience for him. I mean, amazing amount of work. So it's not just about recruiting. I mean, there's a lot of different aspects and levels to this thing. And one of my concerns about, honestly, you guys not funding this is a lot of these high schools, you know, are expecting this. It's kind of a tradition for us to do this, and we've been doing it a long time. You know, some teams, I think, already.
has it always been funded
Right.
only by SGA in previous?
Right.
Yeah, for the last 5 years, but I get where you're going. We usually market this as, hey, we're recruiting, but this is also just like any kind of other competition or sports event. Anybody can show up. If you want us to, hey, CSU students come observe this, I mean, we could make it fun too, if that's what you guys are worried about.
No, it's like, now a lot of people are trying to use that kind of against us, and like, oh, this is open to everyone. Like, not just the participation of the event, but like also the purpose itself of the event has to benefit the CSU.
But, and we're willing to open the table to ideas to make it more, to fall under the scope of what you're looking for.
Like, we got the first idea.
So